David,
Got an extra piece.
I'd like to call our meeting to order. Thank you everyone for coming. And open our meeting with prayer.
Let's pray. Father God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to come and serve the citizens of our county. We ask you now, dear Lord, just to bless everyone that's coming tonight, touch us and draw us closer to you. Use us, dear Lord, to tell people about your love and your grace and mercy. Use us, dear Lord, to improve the living conditions, the quality of life, and everything that our citizens need. In Christ's name we pray these things.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Freedom of Information announcement in accordance with the South Carolina Code of Laws 1976 is amended. The Marion Star Mullins Enterprise has been notified of the date, time, place, and agenda of this meeting. Item 4, approval of the minutes for January 9th.
So moved. Second.
You got a motion, you got a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, the ayes have it. Item 5, Ms. Davis is,
We're gonna bypass that right now, Mr.
all
Chairman.
right. Item 6, ordinances.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. Item A, we're still on hold. We don't have any word from that project, so we're just still waiting on that one. That would take us to item B. You have a full copy of this ordinance in front of you. It's a second reading of ordinance 2024-01. An ordinance authorizing an amendment to Marion County Personnel Policy 2018-12 and any amendments thereto so that the policy can be further amended by resolution of council rather than by ordinance. So all this really does is just change. Typically, when you have an ordinance and you adopt it in the ordinance fashion, you have to adopt another full ordinance. 3 readings, sometimes a public hearing if you had one when it was adopted to make any small little adjustment to it. From a personnel policy, sometimes things need to happen a little bit faster. So I think it would be wise for us to go ahead and just make it so that you can amend that personnel policy simply by a resolution. So it only takes one vote and you don't have to continue it out over a month and a half period of time. So that's all this is for.
You heard the recommendations from the attorney when we were here.
So second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, the ayes have it.
Item C, this is first reading, so just to remind you and those in attendance, no action needs to be taken, just simply reading the title is sufficient. First reading of ordinance 2024-02, an ordinance amending the business license ordinance of the county of Marion to update the class schedule as required by Act 176 of 2020. That's all I have.
All right. Item 7, committee report. Committee number 1 has nothing before it, does it, Ms. Davis?
No, sir.
Committee number 2,
Has nothing, Mr. Chair.
all right, legal update.
I don't have anything in this section, but I do have the necessity of 2 brief items in executive session that are covered by attorney-client privilege.
Item 9, Mr. Neil Fairbanks, Dr. Paul DeMarco, Marion County Library.
Thank you, Jim, for allowing us here. I'm gonna pass this out. Do that just a moment. What I'd like to do tonight, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing the library to be here tonight. Have an opportunity to be before you. And what we would like to do tonight is twofold, is make you aware of an ongoing situation with the library regarding its financial situation. And second, to allow you to ask any questions or concerns or clear up any misconceptions with the county library and its operation within the county. Not going to give you a history lesson on the library, but libraries was established in 1898, Marion County by Judge Wood. Some of you may have heard of that name, with H.C. Graham also. You've heard of the H.C. Graham estate. So that's the same individual that was very fundamental in the funding of the library. The library that exists in the county, within the city limits of the county is a Carnegie Library, one of about 1,800 built in the United States. It was built in 1905. We have a branch in Mullins. We have a branch in Nichols. We also have a bookmobile. We have a satellite location that operates part-time in Sellers. And we have, through the bookmobile, we have outreach that works in other areas of the county and serves in nursing homes and some of the daycares within the county. In 1975, there was a renovation. Prior to that, in 1929, the library in Marion, it burnt down. It was rebuilt in 1930, and then subsequently in 1975, there was a renovation. In the mid to late 80s, there was, okay, thank you. In the mid to late 80s, it was determined that the library, in the quest to fulfill its mission, was going to need a renovation. So even though that it was renovated recently at that time in 1975, it was the powers that be said, you know, we need to really go ahead and plan and build. Since 1975, that hasn't happened. There's been 5 efforts to renovate the Marion Library. And hopefully, and we can discuss that in a few minutes, that will come to fruition, unfortunately, 50 years later. So we have a $3.5 million renovation that we hope to complete and break ground on this year. Concerning our financial situation and the folder that you got, the library has been, quite frankly, has been seriously underfunded for the last 20 some years. The Marion County Library is the only county that we're aware of that is funded as a line item appropriation in the budget. All the libraries, as the Marion County one previously was prior to 2002, it was funded through a millage system. Whatever reason, it was changed. That was quite some time ago, previous administrations. And from fiscal 2002 to 2003, when it was changed through 2006, appropriations got up to $647,000. Okay. So for those of you that own businesses or operate within budgets, or you have your retirement plan, if you had the same amount of money in 2006 and in 2024, it wouldn't be looking pretty good. Well, that's where we're at with the library. The library essentially operates on the same budget dollar-wise as it did in 2006, with the exception of one $12,000 increase in fiscal 2016 that brought our total funding from the county up to $660,000. Since then, and there's been some reasons, there's been COVID, the county hasn't had the money, but since then, we haven't had any increases in funding. As a result, most libraries, the goal to operate is 50% salaries, 50% operational budgets, and to buy books and so forth like that. Currently, our ratio is in excess of 70%. Doesn't, and as you know, healthcare goes up, retirement plans go up, and so forth like that. So it's just not sustainable for us as a library, as a county entity, to remain an appropriation from 2006. And part of the reason that we feel like as a board is because we were changed from a millage-based appropriation to just a line item. That being said, we can remain a line item if you want to. If that's the most expedient thing accounting wise and it's easiest for the county, that's fine. What we really need is an increase in appropriations to fulfill the mission of the library. That $647,000 with inflation and so forth like that would be the equivalent of $987,000 now. So we're $338,000 less than what we are. And it makes it very, very difficult to operate the library. In the past couple of months, there's been some discussion about the library not being able to fulfill its mission, not being able to provide customer service, and not being, quite frankly, not having the hours open in certain locations. It simply comes down to having staff. We can't really afford any more staffing than we are. That being said, I think that the library has been more than patient. We're a team player. Back during COVID, we cut back, but we've had to use some of our shortfall money. And at this time, what we kindly ask, even though it's only January and you feel like you just got through the budget, but in the upcoming budget, if we could sit down and work together as a team, to have some more appropriation to the library, we really appreciate that. And that's where we're at this time. I have brought other people with me. I have Vice Chairman Dr. Paul Blanco. I have our Finance Director Cindy Hayes, and I have our new director, Patty Burns. Going back to previously, one of the reasons that we have made it money-wise is that we haven't had the quality leadership, which is i.e. the directors. We've been able to save money simply by not having a director, which is not a good thing. It took us our search this past time until we hired Ms. Burns was one full day short of a year. We entered various candidates. They came, they visited, and it was a situation such that not so much what we had at the library, but we were actually turned down by very, very good candidates, or mostly because we couldn't offer a competitive salary was what was offered throughout the state and throughout the Southeast. And quite frankly, we're very, very good here in Marion County about not seeing ourselves as people from the outside see us. So some of our candidates turned our job down, not because of what we had in Marion County, but because of what we didn't. And one in budget continually came up in every interviews that I had. They'd ask, what was your budget? And I tell them, I said, how do you even run the library? Is it a part-time library? And I said, no, it's not. So I realize I've just spewed a bunch of grievances to you. I don't hold any of you accountable for that. This is because until tonight, probably all of you are unaware of this situation, and that's why we're here tonight. I would like to, Ms. Burns, to kind of tell you a little bit. I've told you where we're at, where we've been, but I want to tell you where we presently are and where we want to go. Ms. Patty.
Thank you for having me. With my staff of 11 people, 3 of which are part-time, we have over the year of 22-23 had 8,200 library computer sessions with people coming in to utilize the internet and to print. That's a lot with 11 people and 14 computers. 11 people. 8,200. That was to use the computer.
How many of those were
What do you mean? The same thing? Oh, we have a good following. I don't know how many of those are, but that's a lot of, can you help me print? Can you, for the staff? Yes, sir. A year. Yes, sir. And that's a lot, but that's not all we do. We're not just books. We're not just computers. We have notary services. If you go to the bank, they're going to want $15 to notarize a document, and we do it for free. We have 2 notaries on staff so that at pretty much any time you can have something notarized. We have fax. There's no UPS store. There's no Kinko's here in the area. And we get a lot of the smaller businesses around the towns coming in and printing their flyers or their menus for the restaurant. So we have a lot, we aren't just serving individuals, we're serving businesses as well. Now, on top of all of that, we've averaged a month, 2,200 books a month. And that has increased over the last 2 months. When I arrived in August, I realized that one of the things that we did not have was a strong collection. And one of the things that I am very good at is collection development, which is spending money. But you have to have the materials for the folks to come in.
Well,
And yes, sir.
excuse me. I got a problem. If I can't ask a question when I'm thinking about it, I'll forget.
I understand.
2,200,
That's how many items that we circulate a month.
what do you mean items?
Books, audio books, physical items. And we also have, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
So they obviously have to do some kind of library card.
Yes, sir.
Check materials out. So then we should be able to break this down by demographics, where these people are located, where they're from, what county they're from.
Gresham. I have a lot of folks from Gresham. I go home through Gresham. I love it out there. I live in Horry County and I do go that way. And I would ride by all summer and I would see where the old school was. And I'm thinking, I can, but not at this moment. But that's one of the places that we are looking at going. But again, 11 people. So if 3 of them are part-time. So we have the satellite branch in Sellers, and I have people there every week. But that's taking 2 people away from Marion or Mullins or Nichols to go and to sit and serve folks out there. So we want to build. I have a staff that is ready to go. I have very enthusiastic. I can't brag on them enough. And they want the right things. But we have to have some support and not just money. You need to be library users. You need to be able to say, yeah, we have a nice library. Yeah, I've been in there. And because it's important that they hear it from you. They look up to you, your leadership. And I think that we could all work together and make it better and to serve more of the people in the county.
Where does the library get funding from to purchase books?
That comes from our appropriations.
So there's no support from the state side.
We do receive state monies, but it's
Percentage of that goes.
right now not a very large percent. The state library has a guideline, and they want 15 to 20% of your budget to go to the materials, books, CDs, that sort of thing. And we have not even been anywhere close to 15%.
It's the overall budget or the money that they get?
The overall budget.
So question,
Yes, sir.
thinking about future planning, transition that's already taking place in society in regards to using technology and tablets and all these other devices, whether or not it's better to start investing in audio books and digital books instead of buying physical texts.
We do that as well.
Because the general problem that I represent a district that's Gresham, Ripley's Neck, Centenary, Rain, Centenary, it's massive.
Yes, sir.
And even going back to my youth, the library in Marion was a foreign entity to us. And quite frankly, that comes down to a fundamental issue of fairness and what students have access to and what they do not. So when I'm hearing that talking about expanding the physical library, Marion, still don't see how that in any way, shape, or form benefits the kids that live on 378.
Right.
The same kids who have to, by the way, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning
To get to school. Yeah.
It's not fair.
I have big plans. And one of the things that I do is expanding is a new bookmobile. And does that replace an entire great big nice library? No. but it does at least provide access. We have two services that we offer with audiobooks and ebooks that you can access with your library card. That is totally free.
You're in an unenviable position. But when I think about saying, okay, there needs to be a $3 million renovation to the physical building in Marion, I wonder whether or not there could be some smaller satellite offices of buildings built
With,
county with that money, or does that $3 million go exclusively to the physical building in Marion?
that goes to the physical building in Marion, but from that physical building in Marion is where we build the satellites, where we have additional, we create a better and a better collection that we can rotate out of the main library into the smaller hubs, the bookmobile. We have a lot of ideas that we'd like to do and to work on. And again, they all have to do with money. I have a wonderful staff that works very hard and are very enthusiastic and really want to do what's best for Marion County. And they can only do so much a week. And people and money is what we're lacking. And of course, everybody, no one, if you gave everybody millions of dollars, they'd still want more. But I grew up in a community that was 26, 27 miles from town. I know what it's like to sit and wait on the bookmobile to come. So I understand that, and I want to help fix it.
One more question. Where are we at with the audit?
With the audit report, we are working with our auditor, and he has portions of our audit for the previous year, and that should be done rather soon.
Mr. Floyd.
The chairman of that board wanted to respond and maybe answer a couple of questions or add to.
Yeah, concerning renovation, part of it, and I apologize for not extrapolating more on that. Part of the renovations, when you're discussing the main branch of the library, that is the main branch of the headquarters. 50% of that is operation. Mr. Foxworth can attest to the fact that over in Marion, the personnel is downstairs in the basement. And if there's a heavy dew, it floods. And if there's a storm, there's 6 to 8 inches of water. Now we have mold. So we have had to close the basement off, which is where the staff works. And plan of the director's office was upstairs, he closed off one significantly large portion of the library upstairs and put the offices upstairs. That's part of what the expansion is, because we had to get them out of the basement. Through Hurricane Florence and Matthew, there was 8 inches of water. We lost computers, we lost some material, and now we have a mold problem that is not sustainable. And fortunately, we haven't had any health issues for that. But that in part is why the renovation is ongoing.
Well, if there's $3 million, why not just build a new?
So you can't do it. For $3.5 million.
Yeah.
We're barely scraping the barrel as it is now, just to get a 4,000 square foot addition. You're talking $20-30 million for the library.
Repeat that, how much you say?
A new library of any
Yeah, that's true.
significant size would probably be $20 million.
So if that's the case, I'm just throwing this out. If a library of any significant size would be about 20, imagine what the cost of a new countywide high school would be. I understand the need to renovate this place, but even after full renovation, my concern are all these young people south of 76 and 501, all the way down to 378, who would, like me, all of my life, almost never had a significant experience with the library, and that was unfair. Parents pay taxes, get to the general fund, never had ability to prosper or get the services, the summer activities that the
Right.
library provides. You missed
Absolutely.
out. And that's fundamentally unfair.
Well, I mean, we agree.
Well, you were not, yeah.
To build a satellite branch there, we would actually like to have money to have the bookmobile that could go down there on a more regular basis. Our bookmobile is in Marlboro. You know, a new bookmobile is $150,000, and there's a 9-month wait if we order it tomorrow. I mean, we want to do these things, but we can't even do what we want to do in Mullins, or what we want to do in Nicholson, or what we want to do ourselves. Quite frankly, we can't do what we want to do with Marion. I mean, we want to do these things. And then
Absolutely.
as far as, you know, you're talking about the youth, see, that's one thing, you know, going back to the capital sales tax. Just a little interest there, the very first capital sales tax, this is way before your time. The genesis of that idea came from the library board. Because they were searching for a way that was equitable to pay for a new library. So in 2008, when it passed, there was 20 projects selected. Ironically, the library was not one of them. So we were grandfathered in for the second capital sales tax that we got. We got $1.5 million. And there's other projects that have gone on the county that we've spent way more. And we've got ball fields and we've got this, and I'm sourcing that, okay? And I think I can't say what goes on in Marion, but I know Mr. Floyd does a great job on recreation, and I love sports, but not every kid plays sports, you know? So we may have some ball fields and some basketball courts here, but what about the kids that want to play tennis? What about the kids that want to, you know, check out the latest look? And then the follow-up also, when we're talking about that 15 to 20% material, actually, that does include audiobooks. And one of the things that the bookmobile does, we have spent money and got state grant that has a Wi-Fi system on it, where we can drive that vehicle anywhere in the county. And if an individual has a telephone or a laptop or a tablet, they can download that book within 15 seconds. We have that technology.
We even have the tablet they could check out. You know, we have tablets that circulate if they want to read an ebook.
Mr. Tenney.
I hear y'all passion for library, and I appreciate that. You saying you need some help financially.
Yes, sir.
When you get that help, if you get that help, how long, I see you have a vision for the library.
Absolutely.
How long would that vision take? I mean, how long would it take to get the library like you want it to be?
Oh, I won't live long enough.
But Mr. Councilman Rogers have, how long would it take to try to?
Well, we need to get Marion up and running, and I don't mean open and running, but have our construction underway. I have all sorts of projects and things in mind to spread us out across the county while the renovation is going on. And then taking that and building from what we do while we are closed for renovation, because we will have to close for at least a short period of time.
Ms. Watford, have you met with the library board or the director?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have met. We have been in communications. I've heard their concerns. I thought it was important that they come to council and share their concerns so that we can begin and strengthen the partnership. I believe that it is needed, and I would like to discuss with council how we can, bridge that gap that's there.
I like to just say a couple things in it. And you can, like someone mentioned, we can see the passion. And unless you're there and you see what it really benefits, and listen, I hate to say it, I never was one into the library. Okay.
And I was never in the sports. I was in the library.
I was out there playing basketball. So guess what? But thank the Lord, it worked out.
Yes,
And if there's anything that we can, at least I feel, that we can touch people who don't have the opportunity.
absolutely.
Cause I know we got to have it Marion and the central located, but there's a lot of kids out there like
Absolutely.
in recreation and the bottom, lower end.
Oh, I was coming to
They-
talk about you, talk to
Well,
you about that anyway.
Yeah, and this will do anything possible.
Yes, sir.
But the
Thank you.
passion y'all got, and now that you've brought it to us, we kind of see what the deal really is, because you hear all kinds of stuff. Some people
Absolutely.
don't, no matter what you do, they're not gonna support it, so it doesn't matter. What I want us to do is let us understand that y'all have a list of things that we have got to do. If it's a bookmobile, I don't know what it is, but if we had a list of things that were necessary to at least stay in fair shape, it would help me when y'all come and ask for more money.
Okay,
At least I would know where the money's going, and when people start asking me, well, listen, this is what they had to have. These people are in it every day.
right.
That would benefit me.
I want to see more young people in the library, and I want to see more young people having access to the library. I look out of my office, or I'm up at the circulation desk, and I want a rambunctious kid to run through so I could tell them to slow down. You know, I want them in there. It's important they're in there. They need to be in there so that they're safe, so they can have something to read and can find something to do that maybe is productive and not do things that they might not should be doing.
And Mr. Chairman, one more comment and I'm through. I appreciate all the hard work, because I know Neil well. Let me tell you, it's hard to find somebody who'll work harder than he is.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
appreciate everything y'all do as volunteers and the staff also, but it takes a lot of good people. to
Yes,
make
sir.
it better.
And I've got a staff of wonderful people who want to do wonderful things. And we need some help.
That's right.
And, you know, we're not too proud to ask for it. So, yeah, if we don't tell you, you don't know. So we were trying to reach out and let you all, but we can come up with a plan with some ideas of things I want to do and see if we can't come up with something that all of us feel passionate about and can fund.
Is the library prohibited in any way under state law from doing fundraising or applying for grants with
Oh,
foundations?
I have 3
trusts?
grants at work right now. Yes, sir. I've got 2 with Dollar General. They are usually very generous. One is a family literacy grant, which is up to $10,000. What we plan, our idea for that is people need to know, their children need books, need to know from the first day. And we want to put together like a handout or a bag when mothers deliver in the hospital, to give them a book, give them a library card, give them something cute with the library on it, so that they can see that, hey, we want them in there. And they see our logo, and they, you know, every time they look at that, they think of the library. And we want them in there. We want them in there for story time.
Are you familiar with Candid?
Candid.
So there used to be an organization called the Foundation Center initially.
Yes, sir. Yes, I
They
have.
merged with GuideStar,
Right.
and I'm very familiar with their model. They used to go to their headquarters often in New York City.
Yeah, I've been to the Foundation Center training. I actually coordinated the Foundation Center in Georgetown, which is where I was previously. That is a very good resource. The new version is very expensive. The old version was very expensive, but I do have connections and can go to Georgetown and can use their Candid to research, and I will. But those I have found are usually very competitive, and for some odd reason, there's not a lot that is specifically South Carolina. But yeah, grant right. I I have spent 17 years with a gentleman I call the grant guru. And he had, if it was not for this grants, Georgetown would be just, would be in the same boat we're in.
You may want to focus in on some of the public trusts that have been established in the Kansas system. Some of them go back to the 1800s where the money has just been turning over compound interest, literally have millions of dollars available for targeted requests.
And I mean, I'm open to any ideas, any suggestions, recommendation. If you want to sit and talk about it, we can. I'll be happy to hear what what you know and what I know. We put it together. There's no telling what we could do. So I think you're through with me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may, I would like to get with the library again, get with their financial team, with Ms. Patty, with the board, and perhaps bring them back once we've had some discussion and have another meeting.
Yeah,
This-
and we
we
can-
kind of dig into and see how
Get
we can
some-
analyze and come up
Right.
with some solutions, if
Right.
that would be okay.
That's okay, but if we could focus on this thing, put it on the top burner,
Yes,
because this isn't the first time this group's been here. First time since you've been here, but they've been here in the past
mhm.
and we've just kind of not responded.
Yes, sir. And I have some ideas as well. So again, I want to get with them and then we can come back.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair. Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one comment. I'd like to thank you for increasing the hours at the Nichols office.
Thank you.
Those young people over there and even the senior citizens, they use that library a lot. And I
Yeah,
thank you.
yes.
I thank you for identifying
Thank
that
you.
and giving them some increased hours, which is one of my pet peeves about this whole system.
Thank you. And one of the things that I do want to do is to get some weekend hours in Mullins. And darn, it goes right back to the same thing. Need more money, need more people. So I have some things for the summer planned that will be on the weekends in all of the branches. So not every kid can make it during the week, but maybe, during the weekend, there's a better chance of them getting transportation or their availability. So we have a lot we're doing.
You probably don't know, but what year was the Mullins Library redid?
2014,
Good deal. Still in good-
2016, 16 or 14? 16, okay.
Stated earlier, the city of Mullins actually owns that physical location. And the city of Mullins, quite to their credit, elected to use their capital sales tax money to renovate.
Good deal. It's nice. It's nice. Thank
Yeah, Nichols did the same thing.
Mr. Rogers, if you'll help us sign the bill down there, we're on the same team. We'll put your name and your picture on it.
There's actually a school available that was closed. The
Where
former
the
Brits Neck
healthcare-
High School, but it's then became Brits Neck Elementary School. That facility is wide open. It has a gym that could be used. The students haven't been able, young people, the community hasn't been able to use that
We're
gym
already
that they
talking
paid
to them.
for with a bond that's been sitting there for years. So we could, the library is already there. The Wi-Fi system, the security system is already there. Electricity is still into the building. We could actually do something really interesting, do a library, do a community center, have more space for other opportunities. Unfortunately, Zach isn't with us, but Zach was screening me with some great ideas, things that could be used down there in that facility.
That
So
was
we
one
have
of
a
the-
facility.
They've,
It's the old Britain's Neck High.
yeah, the elementary. Yeah, that's, we've already talked to them. We're talking to them. We're still working with them. Again, I have to find the money and I have to find a person to, so we're always, but that every day going past that school, that's what I was thinking. You done with me?
How often do your board meet, your library board, how often do they meet?
We monthly except for December and June,
You have a certain
July.
time, a date, a certain like day.
The third Thursdays.
What time?
I will be happy to email it.
If you can email it to me, Ms. Patty.
Yes, sir,
No.
I will. I sure will.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Neil, Paul, thank y'all. Appreciate what you do. Look forward to hearing from you. All right. Item 10, Mr. Jimmy Floyd.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Floyd is not present.
Probably in jail.
Administration update. Administrative update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of council and those in attendance. Under our capital sales, I just want to give a brief update about our animal shelter. We have the metal building up. I don't know if you all have rode past there, have seen it. The metal building is up in the same location that we tore the other building down. We are now waiting to have the bathroom put in and the septic tank. So that should be in the next couple of weeks, probably the month of February. So that's for the animal shelter. As far as miscellaneous, I want to remind District 2 that we do need a seat for the Economic Development Chair, Council, excuse me. Also, we're asking for council's approval for Wakestone to provide rocks for the county roads. He was the winner of the rock bid. So if you can approve that, we can move forward with that bid. He was the winner of the bid, which he will be providing rocks for our dirt roads.
You've heard the recommendation.
I made the motion, thank you, I'll second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? The ayes have it.
Thank you. Also, we will be rebidding the asphalt milling bid. We only had one bidder. And really by our procurement requirements, we'd need at least 3. So we are rebidding that, which we'll be opening that on February 2nd. And that's for our asphalt milling. Thirdly, on bids, I have completed the Willoughby property farming bid, and that will be opening on February 12th. I've contacted, I've put it on our county website as well as Skibo. W-2s will be given to employees on Tuesday, January 30th. And we will begin our budget workshops and discussion with council for the 24-25 fiscal year in February, time and date to be determined. That's all I have for administrative reports.
Do we have some kind of meeting on the 29th?
We do. We have our council connection for the city, city of Marion, city of Mullins, Sellers and Nichols, as well as the county will have a council discussion. School board also, yes, sir.
Have they been notified?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Floyd?
On the bids or the request to bid,
Yes, sir.
how long the farmer's gonna be able to utilize the property for 1 year? With
It,
all other-
it will be determined upon if we have an industry that's gonna come
And
in.
that's what my question is, though. So we got it. I don't know if it's called bird clause or.
We do, yes, sir. What I wrote in the bid was, once an industry has identified that they want that property, we will work with the farmers on an exit plan. Yes, sir.
This past week, we had a CTC meeting,
Mhm.
The Transportation Commission meeting. Did we get any money from them to do any of
Yes,
the
sir.
dirt roads as far
Yes,
as
sir.
the crush milling and that kind of thing?
We did. We got, because I just did the reimbursement, we got 20,000 for our rocks, and I believe we got 30 for the asphalt milling, and we're again working with our CTC individual who is representing Marion County, getting that money, putting that money back into our roads.
Thank you.
And one other comment about that. I had someone tell me the other day that Mr. Bobby Page has been doing a good job.
Yes, sir, and that's who I was just referring
Yeah,
to.
and I wanted to bring that up because we don't usually hear people doing a good job. It's
That's-
only when they do a bad job.
That's true, and he was the individual that again, got us that 20,000 and
sorry, 'cause he had
30,000.
something
He
else.
has everything to do with that, so.
I heard
as
the
well
same
as the
thing,
bids.
Mr. Floyd.
Yeah, so
Same
we're appreciative. That's all the administrative reports I have.
All right, requests and comments from council members.
Floyd,
Sir.
Chairman. Are there any regulations or restrictions on solar farms in the county? Do you all know of?
Any restrictions?
Yes, sir.
They have to be approved by our planning commission.
Right, it goes through the same exact zoning requirements as any business, but there's not any separate restrictions just for.
Okay, planning committee, okay.
Yes, sir.
Got one more thing. I want to commend one of our councilmen. He run up on a wreck the other day and he pulled a gentleman out of a burning truck, Mr. Councilman Austin Foster. I like to give him a hand. We don't give enough thanks for the EMS and fires, and he run up on it and the man fired on the truck and he pulled him out, and I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else got anything?
Yes, I have a question. Because the last meeting we was told, in a kind of cursory manner that the estimate from Fox Solar would drop from 88 million to 50. 55 million.
At the last meeting,
Yes.
it was from 2 something is where it started in the initial phase to 171, I believe, is what the total ended up being in that final read, or 168. It's either 171 or 168.
But I thought we had an agreement for that.
Well, that was the agreement. So that was third reading of the ordinance. And that's what set the final number.
And the project got smaller or what changed?
So the way that these projects work, that's why, on the very front end, when these things first started, they weren't even considered in the fee and lieu process, because the process they have to go through with the power companies is they have to get put on the short list, and then once they get put on the short list, then they actually get the deal. But the power company tells them, this is the megawatt watts we need. This is what we have to have from you. So they don't really know on the very front end. When we're at the inducement resolution stage, and generally at least first reading, sometimes even second reading, they're still waiting to get their information from the power company as to what supply they're gonna need to fill it. So it can vary, but again, like in that particular one that we're talking about now, the property that we're collecting right now on is like $2,000 a year. And now we're going to 168,000. So it's kind of no matter what those numbers, yeah, it's a pretty big deal, pretty big change in tax income to have that process in place.
That's the kind of change we need.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Mr. Turner.
Ms. Walker, when are we gonna get our airport committee?
I can work on that, Mr. Turner.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's been a committee that has not
I
been
know.
in place
Yes,
prior to me. So that is something that I can put on my list to get started and make sure that we have a running committee.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, do we have a need for an executive session for contractual? Is that what you?
I have 2 items that are covered by attorney-client privilege. Yes, sir.
What is
I
that?
got,
Is that contractual or?
They're both of economic development nature, but it's more of a legal matter than economic development.
Okay,
I'm good.
you good?
I'm good.
All right, something that we're gonna have to do something. We have hired an administrator.
That's correct.
All right, so we need to get together, and it's up to this council how we're gonna do it. Well, usually it would be done by committee number 1. Come back and make a recommendation to full council. If that's agreeable with everybody, or we can have a meeting where full council can come. We can go in an executive session and talk about.
I think we should handle this in the executive session. The great concern that I already raised last year about the committees is that each committee has 4 members. According to state law, when 4 members meet, that's a public meeting. And so I think we need to handle, it's a contractual matter. We need to handle it in executive session while everyone is there.
What's the feeling of the council? Is that all right with everybody?
I don't know.
I don't care.
All right, we'll call, Ms. Davis, we call a special meeting for contractual matter.
Yes, sir, just give me the date.
Anybody got any dates in mind?
A Wednesday night would be good for me.
Wednesday night would be good for me too.
Also, we're planning on meeting
Sir.
It need to be next week.
this following week.
Next
Good
week,
for everyone? Yeah.
on Wednesday,
Fine.
28th,
That's Sunday.
Yeah.
31st.
I'm looking at the phone.
Don't we have a meeting on 31st?
No, it's canceled.
Council. All right, well, can everybody do a meeting on 31st at 6 o'clock?
I sure can.
Need a motion to second it?
Do we need a motion?
So moved.
I think Chairman can call a
Motion
special meeting.
second discussion. All in favor of the motion to have a special meeting on the 31st at 6 o'clock to discuss the contractual matter? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed likewise? The ayes have it. All right, now we need to go into executive session for an economic development.
Legal. Second.
One second. Can we add personnel in case personnel?
Yeah, cause I got personnel.
No,
That's
okay,
what it is.
okay.
Because we cannot discuss any personnel now unless it has to do that.
No, you can add it.
Okay, just in case, I'd like to add
All right,
personnel.
That's why.
economic development and personnel,
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
motion second, discussion. All in favor? All right, we're now going into executive session. Thank you. Session. We went into executive session for personnel and economic development matter. No action was taken. We need to come out of executive session back. into
Second.
motions, any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise, the ayes have it. We're now back in open session. No action was taken in the executive session. What I hear from council.
Will we adjourn?
Move.
Second.